We're very excited about going on the air here on the Real Talk Sports Show. And we're about to patch in to WIGO 1570, Atlanta's Incredible Radio. And we'll be on the air with them. Matter of fact, we're on with them right now. All right, everybody, welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons. And we thank God for those of you who are broadcasting and listening to us on all of our platforms here. We're right now on Facebook Live, and we're also on WIGO AM 1570, Atlanta's Incredible Radio. You also can listen to us on the TuneIn Radio app. Put in WIGO 1570 in the search engine, and voila, you will find us broadcasting to you right here and right now. Well, we're going to go around the booth here. We got a guy sitting across from me. He is a deacon in his church, but for some reason he's a bad man when he comes here. Miles Tyson in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good to be here, man. The football season's arrived.
Football season is here, is right. And diagonally across from me, in the chair now, going to do a little stuff here because his team, the Alabama Crimson Tide, will be playing against Florida State here in Game 2 of the college football kickoff game. VJ is in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
All right, and we have a lovely lady right next to us. She is our community outreach host. Ms. Vassier Serrano is in the building.
Welcome one, welcome all. I'm glad to be here once again, and we are having a great time out here at Pinstripes Family Fun Center.
Pinstripes Bowling and Entertainment Center, 3478 Mount Zion Road in Stockbridge, Georgia. You guys can come out and join us if you would like. Great stuff going on here. These guys have about 24 lanes. They have flat screen TVs everywhere. A lot of great stuff going on here at Pinstripes Bowling and Entertainment Center. And like I said again, we will be here live to the 9 o'clock hour. At 8 o'clock hour, we're going to shift over to our high school football segment. We're expecting in the folks from Drew High School in Riverdale and also Morrow High School, located right down the road from the station in Morrow, Georgia. All right, guys, we're going to start off here with kind of some breaking news here. A little tennis. I know we're not big tennis aficionados here, but there is some big news happening in the very first round of the U.S. Open, a couple of upsets. First of all, former number one Maria Sharapova. She was actually suspended. I want to say it was for performance-enhancing drugs, but she was suspended. She is now back, and in her first return to a Grand Slam tournament, after being suspended, she knocked off the number 2 seed, Simona Halep of Romania. So she is out already. And the other big shocker was the number 6 seed and defending U.S. Open champion, Angelique Kerber of Germany, has been knocked out by Naomi Osaka of Japan in straight sets 6-3, 6-1. Now, the reason why this was kind of intriguing to me is that when I was looking online at this, they kept saying Naomi Osaka. I was looking at this lady. I said, man, that lady's awful bronze in color for someone from Japan. And sure enough, as it finds out, she actually has dual citizenship. She has American and Japanese citizenship because her father is Haitian and her mom is Japanese. So I was saying, normally in Japan, you don't get that brown. And that's what it is. And
natural tan.
Yeah, I mean, really, it was as soon as I looked at her, she kind of looked like she could be like a relative of Tiger Woods. Kind of, had that same kind of look, you know what I mean? So, but anyway, yeah, Naomi Osaka and Serena Williams had played her, or actually saw her playing the Australian Open and thought that she was an up-and-comer, very young, just turned 19 years old. So that name, ladies and gentlemen, Naomi Osaka. And I don't want to, kind of make fun, but to be honest with you, as soon as I saw that name Naomi, that gave me a clue too. I said, nah, she got some American in her. Naomi says that's not your average name from Japan.
No.
So I thought to myself when I saw that, and I saw that bronze color, I said, perhaps we have a young lady who is of mixed heritage. But again, big shout out to her, big win, 6-3, 6-1 over the defending champion from Germany, Miss Angelique Kerber. Again, Naomi Osaka. Remember that name of Japan and of the United States in straight sets, 6-3, 6-1. Mr. Ken Swilling is not with us today. I know he's a big soccer guy. And so my next question is Atlanta United. What do you think the transition is going to be as they move from Bobby Dodd, which is a little bit more confined, about 45,000 people, to the Palace, known as Mercedes-Benz Stadium?
Well, what's the seating capacity at Mercedes-Benz? What is that?
It's just I think it's like 72,000, something like that.
Okay.
Yep.
It's about the same as the Dome, probably close to it.
Very close to it.
But just looks better.
A lot better.
Yeah.
We talk about that in a little bit.
So we'll see. I mean, I think it's going to make a nice atmosphere, especially with it being in a dome like that, especially the chants they got with, like, the college atmosphere, everybody's saying. It'll definitely be a real good thing for the United, the soccer team, and for the Mercedes-Benz Dome, and just bringing a new team in like that, and just some kind of tradition that they can gain and grow with inside that dome. Just allow probably be top 5 in the league once they get to going and get used to it. Yes, sir.
Well, but the beautiful thing about word of mouth, with the energy that they've created in the city alone, I mean, it provides a great opportunity for their fan base to grow, and it provides them the space for that to happen. And at the rate that they've grown here, I think it's a strong possibility. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to really step out there and say they'll be able to fill it up.
Yeah.
But I think that the increase in number of people is a strong possibility because they are really making their mark here in Atlanta.
Well, my understanding is one of the things that they're doing, I guess, in the first game, they're actually kind of restricting the number of seats. So it's going to be a situation where I guess it's going to be closer to the 45,000 mark, where a lot of it's going to be blocked off. But then in that second game, they're actually going to open it up so you can get the full gamut, because what you guys may or may not know, that Atlanta is making a big pitch to be one of the hosts of the World Cup.
Excellent.
At least one of those, at least some of the qualifying games. So I'm sure what Mr. Blank is going to do is he's going to roll out the red carpets and show them how they can fit 73,000 people in this spectacular stadium here for soccer. And actually, it's unique in the fact that the stadium, when they change it from the Falcons, it actually is a legitimate soccer stadium. It's not somewhere they're doing some type of hybrid. It's a real full-out stadium. So it should be very interesting to kind of see what that looks like.
I was going to ask, as far as the field was concerned, because I don't know in soccer how much it affects the player as far as the field is concerned, and that was going to be one of my questions. I know in football you have to get acclimated to the different stadiums and so on. So that should be very interesting. I'm interested in going, actually.
It's going to be
the energy is bananas. It was the same way I felt about NASCAR, looking at it on TV and being there is two different experiences.
Two different situations, no doubt about it. Well, you guys can watch us again on Facebook Live. Go to our Facebook page, Real Talk Sports, the number 7, and you can see us there. You'll see the lovely Miss Vassier. You'll see probably the side of VJ's. That area, you can see his face, and now you can see Miles in the picture. So we're going to have VJ slide over so you can actually see everybody. There you go. Now you got everybody in the picture there on Facebook Live. And again, we're also broadcasting on WIGO AM 1570 on your AM dial, and more importantly on the TuneIn app. You can find us anywhere on TuneIn. Just put in WIGO 1570 in the search engine, and voila, you'll find us broadcasting you right now. But the biggest thing is, if you want to listen online, you can go to facebook.com/Real Talk Sports 7. I don't know why you would listen, because you should get the video, but if you just can't watch us, you can still turn it up and still hear us.
And I switched it up for y'all today. My hair's a little longer, a little curlier. It might be something else tomorrow, but
Well, it's funny you mention that, but we will
Colin Kaepernick.
We will be talking about that in just a little bit. Okay, this is what Miles wanted to jump into last week, so now we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of this. As we were on the air last week, of course, you guys remember that right while we were on the air, mid-stroke, bam! The NBA has announced there is a trade between the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yes, sir.
With Kyrie Irving, former number 1 draft pick of the Cavaliers, going to the Boston Celtics for Isaiah Thomas and Jay Crowder, and a 2018 first-round pick of the Celtics. So my question is, Mr. Cleveland/LeBron follower, Miles Tyson, who do you think got the better end of that trade?
Well, overall, Cleveland got the better end of the deal.
Okay, and why is that?
Well, they kept the scoring with Isaiah.
Okay.
Off the ball, creating his own shot, averaging about 30, even though he was averaging, 29? Was it 29?
Yeah, about 29.
Yeah, 29, but he was the main guy on the team, so that does make a difference there. But, I mean, even with his, decrease 10 points, give him 20. They still got D Rose, which is going to give you 15,
Wow.
And then you got Crowder, which is better defense. So they kept Kyrie scoring somewhat of a guy that can create his own shot, and then they gained a defender.
Right.
So, and then they got Nivik, the center.
Oh, yeah.
Zizic, whatever his name is, we don't have we don't have we've never seen anything from him yet, so we don't know what he can bring. But even if he's just a defensive presence, just to put in there to foul out from Kevin Durant getting easy NBA Jam dunks in the finals, he can still make himself useful if Tyronn Lue use him right too, coach. Yes, sir. But I'm just saying, we did get the better end of the deal, but it's not finalized yet because they're still doing the hip thing. See how bad that Isaiah's hip is, and they're actually saying that Cleveland's trying to add another piece because they're not really satisfied with what the doctors got back from the news from his hip. So they're actually trying to finalize it by getting another piece from Boston or seeing what they can do. So it ain't really finalized yet, but we'll see. We're supposed to be getting D-Wade too, so Golden State, just watch out, man, because all this little Kevin Durant, just keep this little love fest down to this year, just like the ACC in college football. Just enjoy it this 1 year.
Help me,
enjoy
please.
it.
I'm going to say
somebody.
something. I got to say something, and I am going to apologize in advance because this is naivete. And then this is also, some people may get upset about what I'm getting ready to say. You never know what's going to come out of his mouth. But I like Isaiah. But my question is, because of what is going on with his hip, and now they're making a second consideration and asking for more, does that make it like a lemon law type situation? What exactly is that?
Lemon law.
I mean, well, it's just like he might be, injury prone. That hip might be giving them more problems than they expect. So they like, look here. So if you're giving us Isaiah and we giving you Kyrie.
But they didn't even just give it to him. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get off. Because it's not like they just walked by and passed him off. They wanted him.
Kyrie is considered a superstar in the league, or a semi-superstar, or at least a star. Isaiah's an up-and-coming player, had a star caliber season last year, and they just feel that, Kyrie's a big deal. So Isaiah's a big part of that trade for the scoring. So if you can't count on him with his hip to get the scoring, so I needed something else to just add on.
Isaiah has great value, and they wouldn't have accepted him otherwise, even though they knew that there was something going on with his hip prior to making the exception for that trade.
That's true.
So whatever.
I think they're gonna try to see how much they can get from Boston. They're gonna try to maximize,
milk it. Yeah.
And use that.
So I always have to remind VJ, you got to put that mic up to your brother. There you go.
Voice kind of carries, and I don't have any headphones, everybody, so I don't want to scream in the mic.
We want you to blast out, bro, like you out, you're doing about the quad. Get loud.
Yeah, I was saying that I think that Cleveland's going to maximize their opportunity and try to get as much as they can from Boston. Inquiring about Jason Tatum, and they already got a draft pick from him, so they're going to try to see if they can get even more, see how far they can stretch Boston and get in additional pieces to help LeBron out. But I agree with Miles. I think Cleveland came out better in the deal because they kind of have a team that's already used to playing each other. They're adding some additional pieces. You got a guy in Jay Crowder who's a good defender and somebody who's shot that you have to respect on the outside, which will help them space the floor even more. So I think Cleveland came out on the better end. In saying that, I don't think Boston completely lost in the deal though, because they did get a great player.
They just didn't get
potential, leader hopefully for them.
It seemed like Boston just didn't get no better though. They just stayed like the same.
Wow.
And maybe lost a defender. So other than that.
Okay, did you say it again, please?
Boston didn't gain anything. They kind of stayed the same, but lost a defender.
Okay, let me see if I can get this straight. So you're saying to me
Yeah.
that a guy that really should have won MVP when Cleveland won the championship had not been for his spectacular play in Game 5 and 6, y'all would have been home with no ring. So now you're telling me that this. Yeah, you hold up.
Go
Go
ahead.
Okay, Kyrie Irving had monster games in actually 5, 6, and 7. Okay,
Back to back.
and matter of fact, it was his shot before the block that was the game winner. So my question is, now you're telling me you saying that is between him and Isaiah, who you just said got a bad hip. Okay, it's a wash. That what you trying to tell me? Boston got no better.
They didn't get no. I don't see between Crowder and Isaiah. They didn't get no better.
Wow.
Offensively, I don't think they. And especially defense, because Kyrie's wish-washy on defense. He plays defense when he wants to, so he's not consistent with his defense. So they lost that in Crowder, which is a 6'6" perimeter defender that can probably defend anybody in the league at that 2 or 3 position. So they lost that, and then they lost the scoring of Isaiah, but Kyrie brought that same scoring, and then you lost Jay Crowder scoring. Jay Crowder was 12, 13 points a game at least. So you lost that, but you lost the defense of him too. So you lost, but Boston didn't get better because they lost more than what they gained. That's what I'm saying. So they didn't get no better, or they didn't really. I ain't say they got worse, but they did lose a defender.
Okay.
Yes.
Huh?
I mean, if that makes sense.
Kind of like around
See,
the way.
on that deep thing.
Right.
That's a deep. That's
Where
a deep.
is Candy Swilling?
Yes, I wish he was here too, because that's real talk.
Lord have
right
mercy.
there.
All right. Let me
Real
ask you
talk
another
sport.
question here. What team do you think really has the best chance of beating Golden State next year?
Cleveland, hands down, now.
Okay.
Right now.
You think
BJ?
Cleveland? I like San Antonio though. I
In
like
the
San
series?
Antonio. Yeah, I like San Antonio because, and I say that because of the simple fact. Last year, you saw how they had Golden State on their heels before Kawhi Leonard got hurt,
Yeah.
and that really changed the course of that whole game and the series. I saw a determined Spurs team against the Warriors, and they had the Warriors on their back for a first half. I know there's 4 quarters to a basketball game, but had Kawhi Leonard been in that game, I think it would have had a different result. So I like San Antonio. I still think they're a tough competitor for Golden State.
I have nothing to comment.
Okay.
All right. So you guys are saying Houston now with the addition of CP3,
No.
they're not going to do any work. That's what you're telling me.
What'd you say?
I said Houston with CP3. You think they're not going to do any work?
I think Houston is another one, but I would give I'd like San Antonio. In the end, it would probably be Houston after that, but I like San Antonio first.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me ask another question here. Last but not least, can the Hawks get to the 8th seed as we close out? The Hawks. Everybody's laughing now.
How
Okay.
dare if you laugh? I'm for the home team.
I'm laughing at my.
I'll try not to answer the question, man.
Where is
I
Candy
mean,
Go
Swilling?
ahead and answer. Go ahead.
So what I mean? No, I don't think they have a chance. See, you know, I was raised up well by my mama, R.I.P. Rest in peace, Frida T. If you ain't, you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. So no, I don't believe they're gonna be in the
How
AC.
is that not saying anything at all?
I just said I don't think they're gonna be the AC. No.
Well, I think that they actually are going to contend for an 8th spot. Okay, I know everybody thinks I'm a homer.
Yes.
I don't. I actually don't, because there wasn't much difference between the 4th through the 8th seed last year, so
That's
that's
my
why
point.
it makes
Hold
sense.
up, fellas. Charlotte got better.
Okay, how did Charlotte get better?
They added Dwight Howard. They just came and took Dwight Howard from
Okay,
us.
so
They
Dwight Howard, the
took him.
guy, but
Dwight-
somehow
no.
couldn't do any work for
and
us.
They got Monk. They got Monk.
Dwight Howard is shaved down to compassion.
Hold up, 'cause Dwight Howard, he was almost averaging a double last year.
Listen, I don't want.
Man.
Look, can I tell you something? I don't want to take any shots at Dwight because my whole thing was I felt that they never used him properly
Yeah.
after those first 9 or 10 games. But actually, the Hawks are pretty good. If you remember, they started off 9-2. First
Yeah.
11 games, they were using a lot of pick and roll. They had Dwight involved early and often. I thought when they went away from that, the team really got suspect. So, I get you. I mean, I think Charlotte will be decent. I think they might be a 6 seed because weren't they a 6 seed this year? I think.
I believe
Or 7
so.
seed, something
I
like
believe
that. So I think
Yeah,
they're going to
they-
be around that same area. But I do think the Hawks, the baby Hawks, as I like to call them,
Philly got better. I'm just saying, Philly got better. Yes, sir, they did. I'm just saying, they got better. I ain't saying.
I'm rooting for the home team, so Facebook Live.
I would love to see the
Those
Hawks.
and
are
people
your
probably
own
saying, well, say, Minister, will you come up with this before we go to the break? You're probably thinking, why on earth did you come up with this cockamamie situation here? Here's what it is. If I look at the baby Hawks, I look at the fact that if, again, this all depends on if Bud plays the team properly. All on that. If you push with this team, you got all basically rookie and young guys. I'm like playing up tempo type of game, push the ball down the floor, man, and use your youth to wear people out. That's to me. I mean, that's what I would really like to see done. Go ahead.
Can I ask you, if they would have kept Glenn Rice, not Glenn Rice, is it? I'm sorry, what's his?
Glenn Rice.
Not Glenn Rice. Glenn. What's his name? Glenn Robinson Jr. Not Robinson. What's his
Lord
name?
have
No,
mercy. Help him.
I'm sorry.
Tim
Are you
Hardaway.
talking about
Tim
Tim
Hardaway.
Hardaway?
He's having a
Jr.?
senior
I
moment.
knew it was a junior. I knew it was a junior. I'm sorry.
Listen, he called every.
If they would've kept
he called
Tim
every
Hardaway
former
Jr.
player's son he could.
I'm sorry.
Glenn Robinson.
I'm not.
Ray Parker Jr.
Parker.
Glenn Rock,
with
they,
a junior,
they actually played on the same Michigan team together. That's why I said that.
I love you though, bro. I love you.
Okay, they actually played on the same Michigan Final Four team.
Yeah, all right.
But anyway, my bad.
Yeah, all right.
Tim Hardaway Jr. If they would have kept him, I could see them maybe having a score to go to and maybe them have a shot at that 8th spot, Minister. But they just let him go to. Who do they got to go to for? What, are you going to rely on Schroeder?
Here's what I think you're going to get. I think Schroeder's a good for 20 points a game on this team because really he's going to be a primary scorer. So I think he might move to all-star level if he can keep the turnovers down. Number two, I think that Kent Bazemore, without the pressure, is going to at least get you double digits because he's going to have the time that Hardaway took away from him. The other guy that I think is really, I don't know if he's going to start, but I think the other guy is going to surprise everyone is Torian Prince, who was coming on very strong in the second half of last year. I think he's going to be a key player. And I think the guy who's going to contend for Rookie of the Year is the number 1 pick, John Collins, out of Wake Forest. The guy, man, showed he was a beast in the summer league. He's got a game that when we even asked him, they said, well, who do you compare your game to most of the current players in the NBA? And he said, well, I kind of really model my game after Paul Millsap. Now, does he have the strength of Millsap? Obviously not yet. But can he play that 3, that stretch 3 and the 4? Absolutely. So I think it's going to be a situation, man, where he's going to really make an impact on his Hawks team. Well, guys, you listen to the Real Talk Sports Show as we broadcast to you from Atlanta's incredible radio, WIGO 1570. We're also broadcasting live to you on the TuneIn radio application. Like I said, guys, we're going to go to a break, and we're going to come back with more in just a moment on the Real Talk Sports Show. Keep it locked right here.
Yes, sir.
Attention promoters, event organizers, and committees. If you're looking for a place to have your next big event, you must check out the C Room Multiplex. The C Room Multiplex.
BJ, do me a favor.
To book your next artist or to host your next big event at the C Room. Specializing in the following areas: CD release parties, showcases, fashion shows, movie premieres, birthday celebrations, wedding receptions, banquets, pastors' anniversaries, special events, and more. At the C Room Multiplex, we also offer catering and decorating packages. For more information, call us 678-823-5124. That's 678-823-5124. Or visit us on the web at croomatlanta.com. That's c-roomatlanta.com. The C Room is Atlanta's premier Christian entertainment venue. The C Room, 4013A Jonesboro Road, Forest Park, Georgia. Mention this ad for special pricing.
We are back. Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. We broadcast to you right here from Pinstripes Bowling and Entertainment Center here, located just off of Highway 138 in Jonesboro, Georgia. Excuse me, I should say Stockbridge, Georgia. And we thank God for the people here at Pinstripes who have provided this platform here for us to come out here and do the live broadcast. We thank God for those of you who are listening to us live also on Periscope, on Facebook Live, and also listening to us on the free TuneIn radio application. And we thank God for each and every one of you. Well, let's move on to our next segment here. We got a chance to be out in the streets, boys and girls. We had a chance to be out in the public. And what we're able to do is we got an invite to the fight. Yes, we were there. We actually did not have to pay. We went out onto a wonderful event called, actually it was sponsored by the official Pro Players Group, which is founded by Walt Harris, former NFL player who played for the San Francisco 49ers and did a great job with them, and now has transitioned into being quite the executive. And guys, you have to forgive us here. I know you kind of say, what's going on over there? But one thing, when we go live, we, some of our mic holders are a little shaky. So if you hear some clicking, please forgive us. We are so sorry about that. We are looking to improve our broadcast, of course, to you each and every week. All right, I'll ask you guys, did you guys get a chance to watch the fight or watch any of the clips of the fight? First, BJ, how about you? What'd you think?
I did. I got a chance to watch the fight.
All right.
I actually enjoyed the fight. A lot of people said that Mayweather was going to run. It was going to be boring. I didn't see it being boring, especially those first few rounds when Conor came out. Kind of looked really good, with especially the angles that he was taking on Floyd. kind of had him, a little confused until he was able to figure it out around probably around 5, 6, and then he really turned it up around 7, 8, and 9, and then 10 when they eventually stopped the fight. Once Floyd was able to, and then we saw the fatigue of Conor McGregor. He did come out with energy early, but him being an MMA fighter, not being used to fighting as long as Floyd is used to fighting, he's taken a lot of fights to 12 rounds, and you fight that extensively versus somebody who's not used to fighting that long, it eventually wears on that person. And we saw that. So I actually like the fight. I've heard a lot of people say it was staged. I don't really get into that. I like
don't
the
think it was
fight.
staged.
I don't think it was staged either, but I really enjoyed looking at it. So.
Well, we appreciate you looking at that fight, man. And Miles, what do you think about the fight?
Well, the only credit I give Conor McGregor for is lasting about 10 rounds. I give him credit for
He
that.
did not last 10 rounds.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got TKO'd in the 10th round.
Yeah, I give him
That's
that.
my
Those
point.
5
He
rounds
didn't
past
last.
what he's used to in the UFC. So, I mean, is it 5 rounds, Minister?
It's 5 rounds. And see, what I told people is that, first of all, let's do this. Guys are talking about, he's gonna get him out quick. Here was the problem with that. McGregor he got what we used to call as little kids the coconuts. I mean, he got a hard head. Okay, so I wasn't worried about his chin not taking anything from Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah,
The other thing, too, is Floyd Mayweather had not knocked anybody out since 2011.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and he was never really known as a knockout fighter, even when he was in his 20s. So what did people think that at age 40, all of a sudden he was going to he's going to knock him out? So, it wasn't going to happen. And I felt that McGregor, had he been able to get a lucky blow in one of them first 4 or 5 rounds, Floyd could have found himself in some trouble. But he just really could never get that clean shot on Floyd, and that was really the difference.
But even his form and stuff didn't.
Yeah,
His form and stuff didn't look.
He's not a boxer,
That's
so it's
why
not.
I look
You can't
staged,
just.
though. Because
You can't just sit there and think that he's going to have the same form that a professional boxer has. He can't learn it that quickly. And besides that, to the point that everyone has made, he is not used to going after a certain amount of time anyway. And Mayweather is a very technical fighter. Even when you look at the percentages, he's not going to throw so many punches and miss them. He's very, very strategic in the way that he fights overall. So there's no way. And you look at the numbers, Conor McGregor's throws were like, at one point were like 200 some odd, and Floyd had only thrown 100 and some odd punches. So he's very strategic about the way that he fights. He planned, the way that I feel about it is, he planned it. He knew he was going to get worn out, and he played it to the bone until it was that time, and he could see signs of fatigue. And then he went in. He handled his business. So in the beginning, I was a little bored with the fight because I thought that, maybe he would come in and Mayweather just lay him out just to get it over with. But then people paid money for this fight, so it was going to go a while. But it happened exactly the way that I actually predicted it would happen, that McGregor wasn't going to last.
Well, like you said, like Mr. Simmons said, I wasn't expecting Floyd to knock him out either. I wasn't expecting that. But at the same time, for a fight this big, much money that's involved, you would think maybe Conor would spend more time training for it or something. I don't know. It did happen a little fast for what lack of experience that he had, and it did show in the ring.
I think
because them little punches he was throwing to Floyd, it wasn't really. He was connecting, but it wasn't really doing no. It wasn't affecting
He
him.
got him with a few good shots.
With the
though.
first three,
He did.
the first 3 rounds.
I actually like the fact that he had a different form that was unorthodox and what Mayweather wasn't used to, and he was trying to use it to his
But that's
advantage.
MMA,
And the only problem about it was the pacing of the fight. Floyd Mayweather is a very patient boxer, and he's really good at surveying what's in front of him, and then when he sees his opportunity, he'll take advantage. When he saw Conor McGregor kind of like swaying, his arms were being tired, it was like he was like a deer in the head, like Floyd Mayweather.
He won't go down.
Like literally, Mayweather's eyes like lit up. Like, are you serious? Like it's finally it's my time now, and he attacked him. And you saw him go get it. And
That
I'm
ninth
like,
and 10th round.
right.
This
And
is
I thought it was and I thought it was funny in the fight when McGregor would kind of go behind his head, and then Floyd would turn around like, hey, like nope, stop it.
Right.
This isn't MMA.
Right.
And he would just turn around and like duck his head down and try to get away from him. But
It was
I liked
textbook
it, man.
to writing a check that some part of your body can't cash.
yeah.
So that's what happened.
Well, the bottom line is that it was, in fact, a typical Floyd Mayweather fight, technically done, well thought out. You listen to him in the press conference, he said, hey, man, this is what we looked at. We saw that this guy, he had only fought a maximum of 25 minutes, which is 5-minute rounds. He had never gone past that. They said that they noticed that he did lose some steam as they got into that later part. So that was really it. Floyd said he basically wanted him to throw those big thunderbolts early and basically punch himself out, and that's what happened. It's really similar to the technique, of course less painful than what Ali did with Foreman back some 40 years ago. He let Foreman wail on him like crazy, and about the 7th round, it was a very warm night in Zaire, and next thing you know, Ali said, it's time, and George Foreman was put out, and Ali was the new champion.
Now, to give credit where credit is due, I actually do like Conor McGregor as an MMA fighter. He is fierce. I mean, he's cocky. He has a reason to be cocky. He's very good at that. But that is where he needs to stay.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, here's the thing. I think that McGregor had some thoughts because I think you can go on. I want to say it might be on Twitter. I just followed the young lady today, but she is an MMA reporter. And she had a very candid conversation with Conor McGregor. And he talked about the fact that two things. He said, number one, clearly fatigue was a big factor because he was not used to that. He said certainly he realized had he been able to train longer and differently, he might have had a bit more stamina later on. The other thing, too, is he said he had to admit that he was not expecting the strategy that Floyd used to press in on his chest. He said because really in MMA you don't have that kind of – you can do things to get around that pressure. He said in boxing you can't. And he said he said to his credit, and he gave Floyd a lot of credit.
He did. He gave him respect.
Right.
He gave him respect.
But my point is that, basically, I don't know if this helped boxing or hurt boxing. Because in one degree,
I don't think it helped it.
I don't think to some degree it kind of hurts it a little bit because you have a situation where you have a guy that's considered one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters, again, granted 40 years old almost, but fighting a guy that hadn't fought a legitimate boxing match
on his way out.
Since he was almost a teenager. So that you think to yourself, this is the best guy you got. And an MMA guy who was not even in your discipline, you had to take him 10 rounds. You kind of say, But at the end of the day, I think that Conor McGregor is looking at the idea of possibly going to boxing because I think what he realizes is, we're laughing, but this is what he's thinking in his mind. Regardless of whether Floyd Mayweather's a knockout puncher or not, regardless of whether there might be some shenanigans so both guys could get a check, the reality is he's thinking to himself, okay, old or not, this is one of the best guys out there in my weight class, and me with basically no experience was able to go 10 rounds with this guy. So now he's starting to think, what could I do if I actually was able to train a whole year away from MMA and just be a boxer?
Yeah,
I'm just saying, guys. So it's just something to consider. Something to consider. You're listening to the Real Talk Sports Shows. We broadcast to you on Atlanta's Incredible Radio, WIGO 1570. We also are broadcasting on Facebook Live, so that's really where you want to tune in and check us out. Go to the Real Talk Sports page, and we'll be right there broadcasting to you loud and clear. Speaking of loud and clear, I'm always having to one last thing I'll ask the question. Floyd Mayweather's legacy, 50-0, obviously no fighter done that before. Is it still as great as it was, or did he lose anything by basically beating a guy that wasn't even a real professional boxer?
You got to give him 50-0. I mean, doing 50 fights and you unblemished, ain't lost yet. You got to give him credit on that. But at the same time, like you said earlier, it shouldn't. For him being who he is and making history in boxing, it shouldn't have took you 10 rounds to beat Conor McGregor. It shouldn't have took that.
I don't think it took him 10 rounds. That's why I was like, he didn't last 10 rounds. I think that was just a strategy. I don't think it took 10 rounds like he couldn't knock him out earlier. I think that was just a strategy for him to let him wear himself out. So there was really no real fight going on prior to him getting tired.
Yeah, she's right about that because if you watch the first 3 rounds, Floyd wasn't really attacking or anything like that. He was kind of just, he was letting it take its course. So it says 10 rounds, but I guess from the time Floyd actually started fighting,
he wore him out.
Is what Vasir is getting there. From the time that he actually, laced up and was like, okay, let's go. From that point on,
so basically,
she's judging it based off of that. When he actually
out strategizing,
exactly.
Yeah, he outsmarted.
Well, that's what he does. I guess
he knew he was going to try to because all leading up to the fight, he kept saying, "Oh, I'm gonna knock him out in less than 2 rounds. I'm gonna knock him out less than 4 rounds. When we come out there, I'm gonna knock. He just kept speaking into existence, and to the point where he was like, okay, I'm really gonna try to go out here and knock him out in 3 rounds and embarrass, somebody who they consider the best of all time in their weight class.
Well, let me reword that. Then he's one of the most boring is 50 guys that won the record, because the way he does it, his strategy, he wins by strategy and stuff like that. Which, I mean, you can't, if you win, you win. You can't get mad. A win's a win. But I'm used to my Uncle Mike. Uncle Mike Tyson, knocking people out and coming in there.
It's been a long time since
Hold on a
we've been
second.
in that school.
Wait,
So-
you said Uncle Mike?
No,
Uncle Mike.
it ain't really. I'm just playing, folks. But he got the same name, so I got to represent last name. But I'm used to him just coming in there, and that's what I like about boxing. I want to see somebody get knocked out.
exciting.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
When I watch a boxing match, I don't want somebody strategizing, dancing around the ring for 10, 11, 12 rounds and just outsmarting somebody. This is not science or math, and come on now. It's a boxing match.
But it's like anything else, though. I mean, any other sport. It's like people have their way of finessing what it is they do. Everybody's gifted a different way, and if they exercise that gift, and the performance, for lack of a better word, is what they give, and everybody's style is different. So you have to grow an appreciation for their style.
Yeah.
But then look at the technical side of things, and like as a technical athlete and a technical fighter, although he was boring, he put me to sleep a couple of times.
Yeah.
Especially when he fought Pacquiao, and they were dancing. There was a
yeah,
lot going
my
on there.
goodness.
Canelo was a good fight, but to your point, he can be a little snoozy, but technically he's a sound boxer, and you got to give him
Yeah.
his 5-0,
Yeah.
his 5-0, his 50.
Well, again, you listen to the Real Talk Sports Shows. We broadcast to you right here on WIGO 1570 and on Facebook Live. That's where you want to see us and check us out. Go to our Facebook page, Real Talk Sports. There's no question that the guy is probably one of the greatest technicians of all time. And the other thing, too, I read this on ESPN. He's one of the best managers of his career along with his father, because if you notice, man, he set fights up where he knew the odds were heavily in his favor that he was going to win. Even when he picked out guys that were great contenders, he picked them out late in their career.
Yeah.
He waited just the right time. He got guys when they were early in their career, when they were young, make mistakes. You remember the one quote-unquote knockout he did have with the sucker punch.
Yeah. When they touched gloves.
Right.
After I remember that.
But again, but he, like he said, they
Yeah.
tell you in boxing all the time, defend yourself at all times.
That's right. But
And-
he needs to get Adrian Bronner together. Since he's doing such a great job of managing, he needs to go ahead and sprinkle a little of that in Bronner's direction.
Hey.
Oh, you throwing some
Hey.
shots now? Okay.
That brother guy
Hey.
needs to pull it together.
Yeah, he does.
Wow.
He does.
Some shots. All right, well, speaking of shots, we don't want to take any shots at our co-host. She always accuses me of putting her on blast, but I will say this. I couldn't really make it to the event until late. So we had Ms. Vassier to represent us as our official representative for Real Talk Sports, and we appreciated her doing that. Well, I will say this, boys. She created quite the presence on the red carpet.
Uh-oh.
I'm just saying. She was looking mighty swell, boys.
Mighty swell. Thank you. Thank you very much.
She cleaned up very well. As a matter of fact, I was about to call the fire department to put the fire out. Because Ms. Vassier lit it up. If you guys want to see that, you actually can go. We have reposted her picture on the red carpet. Go to Real Talk Sports, the number 7. And your eyes shall behold the glory of the lovely Ms. Vassier in her prime there on the red carpet. So we thank God for her repping us with great.
Was that it, Mr. Vassier? What's that picture right there?
That was not that picture. That was
Okay.
a different picture. I'll find the picture he's referring to.
Okay.
Oh, wait, you
We're
need
trying to
this
see.
more?
We want to see.
I will find the picture he's referring to.
You mean there's more? I can't believe that. All right. Well, anyway, she did acquit herself very, very nicely. She does clean up very well, and she handled herself on the red carpet very, very nice. And we thank God for her doing that. So again, Ms. Vassier, anytime you want to represent the Real Talk Sports Show, you feel free to do that, because she did good. She really did. I'm just, I had to count that in there. All right, guys. Well, again, you listen to the Real Talk Sports Show here on Atlanta's Incredible Radio. We thank God for those of you who are listening to us, and we were going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with you in just a few moments.
Go Vols.
Just hang tight, guys. We're going to commercial break, and we'll be back in just a few moments here with the Real Talk Sports Show. So stay tuned.
Attention promoters, event organizers, and committees. If you're looking for a place to have your next big event, you must check out the C Room Multiplex. The C Room Multiplex cordially invites you to book your next artist or to host your next big event at the C Room, specializing in the following areas: CD release parties, showcases, fashion shows, movie premieres, birthday celebrations, wedding receptions, banquets, pastors' anniversaries, special events, and more. At the C Room Multiplex, we also offer catering and decorating packages. For more information, call us 678-823-5124. That's 678-823-5124. Or visit us on the web at croomatlanta.com. That's c-roomatlanta.com. The C Room is Atlanta's premier Christian entertainment venue. The C Room, 4013A Jonesboro Road, Forest Park, Georgia. Mention this ad for special pricing.
Taking a trip, maybe it's a business deal that has to get done, or a little vacation just to have some fun. No matter the reason, Greyhound Atlanta is ready to serve you with great features on their new buses like free onboard Wi-Fi, reclining leather seats, and more. Greyhound buses travel from downtown Atlanta to over 3,800 destinations. Call them at 404-584-1728. Whether near or far, why drive the car? You know what they say, it's still true today. Taking a trip, maybe it's a business deal that has to get done, or a little vacation just to have some fun. No matter the reason, Greyhound Atlanta is ready to serve you with great features on their new buses like... All right, just as always when we go live, a little technical situation. We got a repeat on that, but we thank God for those of you, again, who are listening to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host here, the Minister Jonathan Simmons, and we're broadcasting to you live from Pinstripes Bowling and Entertainment Center. Miles T in the building, VJ in the building, and Ms. Fasha in the building. And we're going to talk a little NFL. And then, of course, as you guys know, at 8 o'clock, we're going to start our high school segment as we're going to bring in the guys from Drew and from Morrow High School to join us and talk a little football. All right. I had the chance to go down on Saturday and to see in person the new sports palace of the world.
Drum roll, please.
Sports palace in the world.
The Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I don't know. You can put all the words you want to put in there. Epic, dope, awesome, all of that. It really, what I told people when I wrote in the blog, it really was the equivalent. If you go on and Google yourself, for those of you not familiar with this movie, there's a movie called Tron that came out a while ago, and then they had a Tron 3 as a sequel. Well, if the story about that was the programmer actually got dropped inside the computer, almost was like operating in a video game.
Oh, wow.
And that's what it felt like when you were down in the stadium. This huge halo board surrounding the entire roof. You go down on the floor, and now people actually are able to come out of a club level location on the floor. They're at field level, so you actually can walk out of what they call the Delta 360 lounge, and you come out and there's an actual porch where you are literally on the field behind the players, and you have this unbelievable scoreboard behind you as well.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just an epic situation there. I just have not seen anything like that before. It was crazy, just crazy. So.
And that stadium is something else. And the thing that I like about it in the front, that the Falcon sculpture, that Falcon sculpture. They were actually putting that the camera on that during the first home opening game, the preseason opener. And I really like how the Falcon looked in the front. Yeah. I really want to go into the stadium this year. With the money, if the money is right, if God blesses me with that opportunity. Other than that, I will be watching the games from my couch, but it is a nice stadium, and I would love to one day go inside.
Yeah, it looks good. I mean, it looks massive compared to the old Georgia Dome, and speaking of all that, I just can't wait to see that sea of orange in there on Monday too. Though I just want to see what it looks like.
Wait, but first,
inside
whoa,
that,
but Alabama will be in there first.
Well, yeah.
The Crimson Tide.
The Crimson
I
Tide
understand that,
first.
but we talking
They
about
can
Monday
wait.
Night Football, baby. We got prime time on Monday, so I'm just saying we the only game on that day. So
Time to
I
show
can't wait to
out.
see that big orange, Minister.
Well, I
Up
think
there in
it's,
the, what you call it, in the flats, as y'all call it.
well, it's not going to be in the flats, baby. You're
I
gonna,
know it's
you're going to be in prime time.
it's next to the flats.
Yeah, you're going to be right there in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It is an epic situation there. Again, just all the stuff they've done. Now, I will say this: it's not completed. They said it's probably about 60 to 65% complete. And when we go down into the lower areas, you can kind of see,
Yeah.
it's got some work to do. But at the end of the day, man, it's just really a tremendous situation being there. And just, kind of seeing all the stuff they have. The other thing what they've done is because people are spending so much money, they have actually done something which is unprecedented. They actually have a club level virtually at every level. So even if you go up to the 300 section, they have something that I think is called the 100 Club, where you literally, not only do you have that kind of, kind of almost semi-VIP vibe, but you actually, because the stadium, remember now the walls are glass, you actually are overlooking the skyline of Atlanta.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
Wow.
this is something, man, where they have put a lot of money in, a lot of good work. Like I said, there's still some work to be done. It's
So
not.
they ain't got an indoor, fair like, down in Dallas. So, the playpen down in Dallas now, they got the indoor, the fairgrounds and all that junk on the inside of the building and all that
Miles.
in Jerry World.
Miles.
Well, see, what I don't know
You live
why.
in Atlanta, represent.
No, what I
I'm just
just sense
asking.
is as always, with Miles, he always has to throw some shots. So I'm telling him about the thing. He's like, "Oh man, what Jerry
We're gonna
World."
change your name to Beacon Shady.
So, but that's okay though. I mean,
Shady.
it's
Beacon
okay.
Shady.
What it does have is a tremendous art exhibit there. They have that. They have just everything in there when you go through there. It's just really phenomenal. I didn't even get a chance to really walk through because obviously
Okay,
covering
yeah,
the game,
see.
I couldn't really do it. But
See, that's what I was asking.
it was
No,
it's just really an
Miles.
epic situation.
Like-
And I'm gonna see if I can get this really quickly here. We got a chance here to actually talk to Deion Jones afterwards. Let's see if we can get his comments on this so you guys can hear it. Let's take a listen, and hopefully we can. I guess we can't get him loud enough on the on here for you. But the bottom line, you can go to our YouTube page, and you'll see the interview with Deion Jones where he talked about really the same thing, just seeing the halo board when he walked in. That was the first thing that these guys saw. And I think at the end of the day, they played a poor game. They end up losing 24-14. Offense looked really uninspired when I saw them. I just think it was a situation, man, where these guys were still, as much as Dan Quinn tried to do the right thing and do the walkthrough on Friday, when you first go in there, like I said again, it's like being in a video game. If you're a young cat, I mean, you can say what you want about, we're going to keep everything normal. No, man, you're not. Because even with us, on the press, we constantly find ourselves looking up after every play at the halo board. It's just, it's like you said, man, it's like someone dropped you in to an actual video game. I really quickly want to ask this question, because we're coming up on a break in a couple of minutes. Devontae Freeman concussion problem. I mean, is this something that the Falcons should be worried about?
Not right now. I think he's officially been cleared.
He has been
just
cleared
recently today, so he's been cleared from that. I think it is something that they do want to monitor anytime a player that any one of your top players or any one of your players in that nature has a concussion. You always want to monitor that because one concussion will lead to others, and it can become a repeated issue. So hopefully Freeman stays concussion free for the remainder of the season because I actually like Devontae Freeman.
Yes,
so
they do.
they do want to monitor that and monitor it carefully and make sure he's completely able to produce on the field. So.
Yes, I agree with you. They definitely. I don't think it's an issue yet because it's preseason and they don't. I mean, even though the Falcons haven't won a preseason game yet, coming off a runner-up.
Shade.
That's not shade. That's been facts. Though.
It is facts. No, it's just funny.
The Jacksonville Jaguars don't won a
Where it was
game.
placed.
The Jaguars don't won one preseason game. Come on now. I'm just saying. And we the runner-up from the Super Bowl.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm just
coming
saying. And
to
the
the
NFC
stage,
South has gotten stronger. I'm just saying.
Shade.
Dr.
There-
Freeman, get well, sir.
There is
Get
no
well.
question that that we do want in fact win a game because I talked to one of the guys on the team of general managers. He looked at me and said, "Well, bro," he said, "at the end of the day, we need to win a game because winning as well as losing is contagious and habitual. So you don't want to get into that situation where you are losing games. Well, guys, we're going to take a no, not break time yet. I was getting a little too early ahead of myself. I was almost going to break.
Okay.
Praise the Lord.
Well, let me ask you this then, since
Yes,
we got
sir.
a little more time. So, what I mean, do you see this being a problem? I mean, is it showing that the Falcons ain't got no depth on defense? And I mean, what is this showing? I mean, if we go out, starters go out, we out of luck. We done.
Well,
If starters go out.
I think it was a situation with, again, just to speak on the last game, the one I actually had a chance to see, because I mean, the ones on TV, I watch them, but I mean, actually being there on the field, I just think the guys were just. Everybody's mesmerized by the stadium as much as no one wants to admit that. I think the other thing too is that when I watch, I'm gonna talk about offense for just a second. When I watch the offense, and I was watching some of the plays they were running, it kind of reminded me almost like the whole Floyd Mayweather concept that we're going to kind of basically set this thing up. To me, they look like they was practicing. They look like, I mean, because those throws that Matt Ryan took down the field, I mean, the guy really wasn't that open. I mean, it just looked like Matt was trying to air it out. You know, try to see, okay, this is how far I can throw. And he actually, ironically, which Miles didn't comment on, ironically, he overthrew the guy 40, 50 yards downfield, which is an unusual thing for Matt Ryan, because normally we're complaining about he doesn't have an arm. So for me, when I watch them offensively, that's not the kind of game plan they're going to run. We're just taking repeated shots down the field. I thought that they were just trying to, again, let Julio get his legs underneath him, because he did request, hey, man, it's like a fine car. You got to get in there and put the throttle on. So he did that a couple of times. I think Matt wanted to air his arm out a couple of times. But there didn't seem to be a cohesive offensive strategy that you would see in a normal game. 'Cause like I said, again, there's no way you're just going to take those bomb shots down the field. Because what, they took about 4 or 5, just heave and throw? I mean, they're not going to do that.
Against the number 4 ranked passing defense last year in the league. So I don't know what they was thinking. That's some more bad Super Bowl calls again. But, I'm gonna leave that alone. I
Now
ain't
we
throwing
back
no more
on the
shot.
Super Bowl.
I
I'm
think
just gonna-
they have
I'm
Steve Sarkisian now. He's trying
And
to
still
test
that's a
out
big
his
question
offense
mark.
and everything like that. And I know it was one you mentioned that pass that he threw down the field. It was Patrick Peterson almost actually was
Right.
able to haul it in for his second interception. Then the first one he threw on his very first pass, he tried to fit it in that crowd, and it kind of got tipped up in the air.
The tip ball.
Throw it behind him a
and
little
everything.
bit,
So I guess trying to get used to Steve Sarkisian's offense, it seemed like you said, Minister, that they were at practice just trying to test some things out. But you are getting ready to go into the season, and practice not only makes perfect, it makes permanent. So you want to get into a good rhythm before the opening game of your season. So.
Well, at the end of the day, man, I just, like you said, I looked at the offense. It looked like they were trying some things. I will say that it is disappointing that, again, were they the 4th-ranked defense in the league? Absolutely. Were they a significantly better defense than the 2 they played before? Absolutely. And let's face this, the Falcons every game are going to be in the same position that the Patriots, the Steelers, the Ravens, and perennial winners always face. They come after a playoff. They are NFC or AFC champion. Everybody looking for you, man. Everybody is looking to prove themselves on you.
Yeah.
And especially when you won the MVP, you got 3, 4 Pro Bowlers. Guys like, oh, for real? And they're going to come at you with their A+ game. So I get it. But
especially how strong the division is now. They're a good division this year. The NFC South is going to be real strong.
Oh, there's no doubt about
It's
it. I
going
mean,
to be a good race all season long.
You look at this team, question marks you're going to have, obviously, with Carolina, with Cam. Of course, we heard that they're trying to really kind of corral him so he doesn't get injured, because they are a different team when he's playing.
He'll be all right.
Well,
That boy will be all right.
But here's the problem. See what I realized with you, Miles.
That boy will be all right.
It took me a while to understand how your mindset is, but basically, you like the typical what I'm looking for, fantasy football guy. You really don't have a team. You just, I like that guy. Yeah, I like him. Right, Cam, my boy, I like him. Yeah, so he'll be all right. He'll be all right.
I actually been a Carolina fan for a little while, so I do like Carolina.
What, like a couple of days or?
No, a couple of years.
But wait, that
I
was a
moved on
confession
from-
of sorts.
Right. Hold on a
now.
second. Let me see here. Couple of years. Let's see what's happened the last couple of years.
About 3, 4 years.
Oh, wait a minute. Couple normally is 2. If I go back 2 years.
Super Bowl.
Wasn't that the year Carolina went 15-1? Wasn't that the year that Cam had an MVP season? Wasn't that the same year that he was
Fair
rated
weather.
number 1 overall, knocked off Brady for a top 100?
Fairweather fan.
It couldn't. You couldn't have started liking him right around then.
No, it wasn't. It was a little bit before that.
A little bit before in the preseason. All right, there you go. All right. Once again, Miles, the fantasy football front runner, is on the air. We love him.
Someone admitted that just now.
Nah,
I don't get it, bro.
Deny
I've never played fantasy football a day in my life.
What?
I want
No
to get
need?
in there, though.
He said no
I
need.
do it. I live it.
You live it every
He
day.
said you do it on the go.
You just be on the road with it, bro. I mean, no need for you to jump into that. You like, bang, I'm right there. So that's it. Well, I mean, here's the thing. If you look at the NFC South, who do you guys think would be the? I've accidentally hit my commercial again. Sorry about that. Who would you guys think would be the biggest impediment or the biggest threat to the Falcons in the NFC South? Who do you think?
Tampa Bay, definitely.
Yeah.
I think Tampa Bay, more than anybody.
Okay.
Yeah, just with that addition of O.J. Howard, they do have Deshaun Jackson. They have a pretty good, their defense is coming together. They did take a loss in training camp. I think it was Finnegan got hurt right in training camp. I don't know if he's out for the season or not, but you do have a leader in Jameis Winston. You have Mike Evans, who's going to be what I believe one of the top 5 wide receivers this year.
I'm a fan of Noah Spence, but
Yeah, and I think with the Jameis Winston being, the leader that he is, he'll be able to get that team together and take command of his offense. I think they pose the biggest threat right now.
Okay, hold on one second. I just want to get a clarification
Yes, sir.
for a second. Mr. Rotner, you mentioned you like Noah Spence. Would you like to enlighten our?
he's a great kid.
He's a
Oh.
great kid.
Great kid. His background and everything, he had some challenges coming in,
Okay,
and I'm so happy that he got the opportunity to prove himself.
I'm just checking. Okay, because I know
I
He's
missed,
too young for me.
Mike
Way
Evans?
too young for me.
now
He's
we're
on
coming
Spence.
around
Way
the
too young for me.
Now we're
Noah
coming.
Spence.
corner. Right.
Noah Spence.
Nah, I love when people they're unforgiving and someone gets the opportunity to show what it is they're going to do, and they're not blackballed, if you will, and not that opportunity is not taken from them. They actually get a chance to go out there and show what it is, and that's what happened for Noah Spence. He had a hiccup coming into the league, but he came back and he showed them exactly who he was, and it's been the content of his character and the way that he's been playing, and I like the young man.
Well,
That's what it is.
that's
There you go.
and
What
that's
it
your
is,
story. You
Madison.
sticking to it.
Yeah,
Amen.
yes. That is
Amen.
correct.
I'm not mad at you on that.
That's
Well,
right.
at the end of the day, we do want to always uplift and encourage the young men, and especially when they have had situations and problems, because we've all had them. I mean, I've had them at that age, especially. I had a lot of them back then, and the Lord had delivered me out of some really some situations.
Yeah.
So if it had not been for that, certainly, I probably wouldn't be here now. So I thank God for what He's done, and what He continues to do with with people who are, like I said, had some difficulties. So
Yes, sir.
I'm glad you're excited about Noah Spence. I'm glad you're excited about him for those reasons.
Absolutely. He's old. He's young enough to be my kid 2 times over.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah.
I definitely agree with VJ too with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but Carolina's not too far behind. I think they're gonna get some people trouble too. But everything that VJ he said it was right on point, except for the top 5 Mike Evans. I don't know about that top 5 receiver, but
You don't?
he might be maybe top 10.
I give him top 10 receiver. I
Yeah, I
think he's
give
a
him
top
top
10
10.
guy.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
top
saying
5.
he has the potential.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
He does have the potential. You can't take that away from him. He's
most
physical. He uses his body really well, and he's a physical guy. So
Yeah,
I
I
think
give
he
him top
has
10.
potential. At least you can give him that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I give him top 10, and I definitely. I mean, they split last year, Tampa Bay and Atlanta. Atlanta had to play them the second game after the Thursday night game on I think was it a Sunday they had to play them?
I think so.
Yeah. So that was a close. It was probably a little tired from a road game coming back home. I'm making no excuses for them or nothing, but it's just things like that happen sometimes. Each team does that at least once a year, I think.
Yeah, I
But
think so.
So, it is what it is. The Falcons, the way they're playing in this preseason, it's not looking good for them. But
Yeah, I knew you were going to go back to that. I knew you were going to go back to some shots on the Falcons. We would go right back to that. I knew that.
I just want some consistency, Minister. That's all I want to see.
Well,
consistency on Sunday downtown, man. That's
yeah,
all I'm
I
saying.
don't know if I'm going to put you on the mic, man. I got some young guys just walked in the building. We got the Drew Titans have come in the building here, and with all that negativity, man, I can't let you rub off on these young guys, man. So I can't let you do it. Well, listen, guys, you're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show as we broadcast to you live here from Pinstripes Bowling and Entertainment Center. We're also on WIGO 1570. We're also broadcasting on the free TuneIn radio application. Put in WIGO 1570 in the search engine, and voila, you will find us broadcasting to you right here and right now. But remember, the main thing is go to Facebook Live, and you will see us broadcasting to you right here on Facebook. So, again, check us out right there, and we'll be there, man, having a good time here. Well, listen, we got to go to a break. You hear the music, and we'll be back in just a moment.
there, my name is Tim Mullen, General Manager of Pinstripes Family Entertainment Center in Stockbridge. Now is the perfect time to schedule your holiday party. Big or small, we cater them all. 2 hours of bowling, shoe rental, choice of one of our freshly prepared spreads like the pasta meal or southern barbecue meal. Your holiday party is waiting for you at Pinstripes.
Pinstripes Entertainment Center, 3478 Mount Zion Road, Stockbridge. Call 770-302-0786 or online at pinstripes9.com.
Hi there, my name is Tim Mullen.
All right, we are back here at the Real Talk Sports Show, and we're broadcasting to you from Pinstripes Bowling and Entertainment Center here. And you know, it's our high school segments. We go into the 8 o'clock hour, and we have Clayton County High School being represented in the building. So we're going to get these guys set up with some mics. We'll get one for Coach here and then one of his players, and we're going to let them introduce themselves to you right now. First, sitting right next to me, he's the head coach, and I also believe the AD
yes,
at Charles Drew High School right in Riverdale. Doran Lives, welcome to the show, man.
All right, glad to be here. Glad that you guys invited us out this evening.
Well, Coach, man, listen, we're excited to have you guys in the building, and it's been one of those kind of years which I think that if I'm not mistaken, you guys started off with a loss, but then you came back with a win that's pretty significant. Battle of Riverdale, you guys got it done.
Well, we played Newton County in their first game, and that was a tough team and a tough battle for us. We were fortunate enough to play the game against Riverdale on last week and be victorious. We faced a little adversity as that game started, but the players kind of rallied together. Coaching staff got in one accord, and we were fortunate enough and able to come out with a victory.
Coach, let me ask you a question. I think earlier in the spring, you guys scrimmaged one of the best teams in the state in Colquitt. Now, I know that was a rough scrimmage, but I mean, what did that do for you as far as, trying to get to measure the team? And I think what I'll do is I'll also ask that question here of the young man that we have here with the microphone. He's going to introduce himself to everybody right now. Go ahead, Concha.
Cedric Davenport.
And what position do you play?
Running back.
Okay, I'll ask you the question. Obviously, Colquitt again. I watched them in the Dome. They're one of the best there is. But what did it do for you as a player to say, okay, man, we it was tough, but we banged head against some of the best here in the state of Georgia?
Yeah, it made me better. Playing against one of the toughest teams in the state.
And who's sitting right next to you? Pass the mic to him, please.
Gary Turner, quarterback.
All right, Gary. How about you? Again, playing against tough competition against a team like that. How did it move you forward as you guys progressed throughout the season?
It just showed the high level of play we got to play at.
Well, Coach, I mean, for you, like I said again, it's always tough when you when you have to deal with a loss. But even as a coach, I mean, how did it help grow you and even grow your staff of guys?
Well, we're a young team, so we always practice and talk about keep fighting and keep working. And, that's how life is. Life isn't always about giving you a fair deal. Most of the time you have to kind of take it as you get it and make the best of those opportunities. So just as much as, we're coaching and talking about sports, we're trying to teach them life and, being able to persevere through adversity and obstacles and things of that nature are things that we try to get our kids to do on a regular basis. And to be able to do that from an athletic sense makes it easier to transition into their normal lives.
Well, then you speak about that, and usually what I see with most of the guys here, and I'll have the mic pass to one of the other coaches as well. What do you guys do when you're not playing? I know some schools, they do some stuff with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Some schools have something where the kids go out. What are some of the things that you guys do with the young man, kind of like as a team builder or character builder?
Well, I mean, we just spend a lot of time just.
And first, let me do this. Why don't you introduce yourself to everybody and tell us what position you coach?
Yeah, my name is Marlon White, and I'm the offensive coordinator and wide receivers coach. And I mean, just spending a lot of time together. We meet a lot. That gives us an opportunity to fellowship and be together and just, after practice, spending a lot of time, taking kids home or whatnot. That also builds a bond and allows us to get to know them on a level other than just player coach.
And really, how important is that, man? Because I think sometimes we forget, because especially people in the stands, they see the athletes and everybody's going bananas, and they obviously want everybody to perform as winners all the time. But how important is really for you guys, especially you're not old like me, to really kind of pour into these guys and help them move to that next step of manhood?
Well, with us, most coaches have also played ball, and obviously have been high school teenagers. And, we understand what they're going through today, the type of pressures they face, the type of temptations that they, come across every day. And so, we try to give it to them from a perspective of I've been there. I made certain mistakes, and, I made the mistakes I made, and I'm here to teach you from my mistakes, so hopefully you won't make those same mistakes.
I'll tell you, man, it's really – that's the one thing I think I like about this most coaches is just being able to talk with the various students and the coaches and get that kind of feedback. Go ahead, Miles.
Yes, sir. Since you got the mic, Mr. Offensive Coordinator, I was going to ask you.
Here we go.
I'm a little bit of an old school guy. I'm a defensive guy, but I see y'all pretty consistent with scoring 24 points the first two games. I want to know what is the strength of y'all team? What is y'all identity? Is it your offense? Is it your defense? I mean, what fuels this team, and what do y'all,
I mean, we're balanced, as far as offense, defense, special teams. I feel like we get an equal contribution from each of those
spots. You know, each of those phases of the game. But you know, the two guys that we have sitting right here, you know, as far as offensively, you know, we go as far as they go. You know, starting quarterback, starting running back have been in the offense for, you know, 3 years, 2 years, and you know, we go as far as they go.
Yeah,
and they do a great job of putting us on their backs. Pretty much most of the big plays that are made is coming from these two, you know, and you know, like I said, I mean, we're gonna go as far as they go.
Okay.
Before I switch out there, I'm ask the quarterback because there's always the question: what kind of scheme you guys run over there?
Spread.
There it is, that spread. Everybody likes to spread. Now, what for you as a quarterback? What do you like most about running the spread offense?
Really, like,
Get the mic up a little closer. There you go.
Really, it's always different options on each play, and you spread them across the field. They don't never know which one coming.
He likes that flexibility.
Yes, sir.
Well, we're going to switch out and get a couple more of the players in here from Drew. You're listening again to the Real Talk Sports Show. We're broadcasting live on Facebook Live. You can see the young men here. They're in the building here at Pinstripes. And after Drew, we're going to have Morrow High School as well. So you guys keep it locked right here as we switch players around. Well, Coach, let me ask you as we're switching players. What's it for you? It's and I know that there are some other coaches that do this as well. What extra difficulty, or excuse me, I shouldn't say difficult, what extra challenges does it present for you, not only being the head football coach, but also the AD?
Time and balance. You know, I'm also a teacher. That's first and foremost.
Sure.
My duties and responsibilities that exist there from an athletic director standpoint. There are different things during different seasons of the year,
sure,
which kind of makes it difficult. Like right now, me focusing on my sport and then having to manage and maintain softball and volleyball with transportation and other things that they have to deal with. It creates sometimes a little uneasiness on my part, but I found a pretty good balance to be able to get those things done, and our coaches have worked very well, meaning the softball coach, volleyball coach, cross-country coach. Those coaches have done a good job in response.
I just changed it to 20, really. So.
And you changed everything. I mean, you went from running back to defensive line as well. Now, do you like laying the hits versus getting hit? What you
coming into high school, I didn't like no contact because I was running back. Nobody could really tackle me, you know. But I like hitting now. Yes, I like hitting.
Who's sitting next to you here, number 3? What tell us what position you play as well, young man.
My name is Tyreek Presley, and I play wide receiver.
Okay. So now let me ask you a question. Do you most wide receivers, they get a bad rep? They really do. They always call the prima donnas. They want the ball all the time, and it's allegedly that they don't block too good. Now the spread offense, the receivers got to block. Do you like blocking like Roddy White or?
Yeah, of course. I love blocking for my running backs and my quarterback because like when they score, it's like the whole team scores. So hey, I do my job whenever it's for me to do.
Now, Coach, is he telling the truth, or he just saying that because he's on the radio?
He's been pretty solid in what he says and what he does. And it's an expectation. He has no choice but to do it.
Yes,
for him to stay out on the field, he's going to have to do those things for us to be successful.
Well, I think it's important, to really understand that, and really as you guys go on, some of you guys are going to continue to play college at whatever level, some of you won't, but the idea of understanding the team concept, and I think that's the one thing all the coaches try to explain to you, that this translates to whatever you do. I don't care whether you're doing, like you said, whether you're in sports, whether you're not in sports, the idea of understanding, Bill Belichick, people make fun of him because he's constantly talking about do your job, but in essence, that's what you have to learn. You have to learn that if I do my job and the guy next to me does his job and the guy next to him does his job, usually the team will win. So that concept is good. And I'm going to ask you guys 2 more quick questions before you switch out here. Usually all the teams do something off the field, whether it be like we hang out at everybody's house, eat some pizza, or we do something with the FCA, or we go feed the homeless. Kind of what are 1 or 2 things that you do off the field that you kind of say, hey, man, this makes me feel pretty good?
Well, sometimes like in the neighborhood, get like some of the kids out of the neighborhood, we get together, work out, just like a positive vibe, keeping everybody in the community busy and out of trouble.
Well, we have a group chat, social media, over Instagram or whatever it is, and we talk about the plays and what we need to do this week, to be successful in the game.
Well, Coach, I like what you guys set up, man. I mean, these young men really are talking about, bonding, about kind of, blending together, and really that's how you guys really make it as a team. Well, listen, man, we appreciate you 2 guys coming in and
Thank you.
switch out with your 2 teammates. And while we're doing that, Coach, how many different types of athletic teams do you have there, male versus female? We have 4 or 5 women's teams, about the same with men, or what? I mean, give me some of the women's teams that you have, because I know you got to do that too as the AD.
We have, these are female sports, softball, volleyball. That's purely female. We have basketball, which is male and female. Soccer, male and female. Golf is male and female. Track is male and female. Swimming is male and female. So we have just about an equal number of male female sports.
Okay.
You know, girls are able to play football if that's something they chose to do. There are several girls throughout the state that play on football teams.
I know May's kicker last year
Right.
was a female. Matter of fact, very famous. You know, her family being involved in in the civil rights movement,
Right,
and actually with the really great granddaughter of Coach Eddie Robbs. I mean, you can't have a better connection than that. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So there are plenty of opportunities for them to get involved and participate in sports, and we're trying to do the best we can to encourage all our female students to get involved with something athletically, or either some additional club or organization within the school.
Fantastic. Well, Miles, I'm going to have you let these 2 young men introduce themselves. And if you have a question while we kind of do some resetting over here on the electronics, go ahead.
What's your name? What position you play?
My name is Ezekiel Osar, defensive end and offensive tackle.
Okay. So which one do you like playing better, the defense?
Defensive side.
Like defense.
Yes,
So you the leader up front, or you like?
Yes, sir. I would say me and my other teammates are.
Okay. So what's your name, sir? What position you play?
My name is James Brown. I play receiver and corner.
You play receiver and corner.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so what are some of your like we asked the young receiver earlier, the other receiver, you're a blocker. You like to block, or you just like to catch balls?
I want the ball.
You want to?
Hey, he's honest.
He's honest. Yeah.
He's being honest.
He's honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's good. But well, to make it to that next level, you're gonna have to go in there and block a little bit too.
Yeah.
But man, that's good. And like I said, I see y'all consistent on the offensive end with the 24 points a game. Like I said, and the spread, is it like y'all like the dink and duck spread, or y'all like y'all take chances, or yeah?
Kind of both.
Go.
It just depends on how the game's going.
Oh, okay. Yes, sir.
Well, what I like again is that the fact that they because I read that this whole thing, this Battle of Riverdale, I guess is in its 4th year, and Coach had said it's really not a rivalry until the other team win a game. So that's why I mentioned
you guys been doing some research,
right? So this was a big thing here for you guys to win this, and again, it's not a matter of I tell people, because we bring all the schools from Clayton County on here, so we don't. Is it competitive on the field? We understand that, but from the general sense, we also want to make sure that people understand that Clayton County, a lot of good things going on here, both on the field and off the field. So that's why I want to let people see you guys, and you guys come out here and be able to, talk on this mic, have your parents be able to see you, and who knows? The other thing I tell people is that nowadays, recruiting, but they find you. They find you through Max Preps. They find you through things like this. So that's why I wanted to make sure to ask each and every one of you, questions that are not related to football, so people can see, hey, man, we want to play. We work hard on the field, but we're also interested in our community. We're also interested in giving back. And the fact that you guys already got that mindset when you're teenagers, hey, man, that's going to carry you a long way. So I'm just proud of all of you. Yes, and, Coach, what you guys are doing with your assistant coaches here, it just makes me feel good, because like I said, I'm right on the border. I'm in Henry County, but I'm right on the border of Henry and Clayton County. So I'm excited to see you guys here.
On that next level, at the college level, whatever college y'all go to, D3, NAIA, if you play to your talent, to your ability, and just learn wherever you're at and get better, get stronger, get faster, the NFL is going to find you. So it ain't about what college you go to. It ain't about all that. You ain't got to play on television 7 games out the season. It's just go concentrate on your education and everything else comes apart. So
and
put God first.
There you go. Set from the deacon and the preacher. That's right. Yeah, you want to put the Lord first. And when you do that, the Lord will take care of all these other things for you. You don't have to worry about, am I going to make it? Is somebody going to see me? Yes, somebody's going to see you. Because when you're doing the right thing, man, it might take a little longer, but always the benefit is longer lasting. So whatever you do, man, just do right. Whether it be practice hard, you give it 100%. When you're hitting your books, I know that's a pain because you're trying to grind on the field, but grind it in your books. I'm going to assure you, believe it.
You got to make it happen.
I know some guys, man, that they would just Yeah, I'm from a much smaller state, so when you blow up big in a state like Connecticut, that's a big deal. We had a guy, man, that was looked at back in the, show you how old I am, back in the 70s. He was looked at the Texas Longhorns back when they were the Texas Longhorns, okay, when they were winning national titles, and he couldn't go. He couldn't go. He averaged 7. He had 110 carries for about close to, there was 170 for 1185. I still remember numbers. 7.1 yards a carry, and he had a clear shot. We were second in the state, but he couldn't go because he couldn't get those books. And then when he tried to go to junior college, he was so disappointed. Again, he didn't put the work in. And years later, now when we can't play, it's like, man, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. There's no time for that, man. You have to get your books, because even if you don't play a down, the fact that you can get that scholarship and move on and get the education, because I don't know about you, but my mom couldn't afford that. So any kind of scholarship money, that was critical. And when you get out, man, you got something that no one can take away from you. You can go out here and trip and break your leg and not play anymore. But this, they can't take that from you, man. So, again, I just want to encourage you guys to stay on the grind, both academically as well as athletically. Yeah, and you'll be good to go. You'll be good to go. We appreciate you guys stopping in.
Before you break right here, I just want to make mention to something that happened today. Ezekiel showed a great level of and demonstrated some leadership today. There was a young lady in the cafeteria having a hard time. She was actually choking.
Wow.
And you can see her gasping, and people were kind of running to her aid, trying to get her some assistance. And Ezekiel, without even hesitating, without second guessing, went over and performed a Heimlich, get some abdominal thrusts so the young lady could get the food out. And, those types of things that guys do without thinking about it, they're putting themselves forward in a positive manner. That's what we're all about. And I want to say, I know she thank you, but again, from our school standpoint and what we represent here, man, that's what we want all our kids to represent. And, and I thank you for taking the opportunity to do that for her, because that could be a life-changing event for her, or maybe somebody else that was there looking at that to see you do that. So I'm very proud of you for doing that today.
There's no doubt. Now, did we get everybody in real quick before we go to the break? Do we have anybody else that we need?
We got a couple more.
Shout out real quick.
We got a couple more.
All right, Wisdom, I'm actually going to go to a break right quick, and then we'll bring them back. And then after that, we'll go ahead and transition on. You're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show as we broadcast to you right here from Pinstripes Bowling and Entertainment Center. We're located just off Highway 138, 3478 Mount Zion Road in Stockbridge, Georgia. And we will be back in just a moment. When you need a vehicle for your business, you need superior performance and quality service. You need Bellamy Strickland Commercial Trucks. They're in McDonough, Georgia, just south of Atlanta, and can meet your Isuzu, GMC, and Chevrolet commercial truck needs. Their friendly staff will help you find the fleet trucks and vehicles you need at a price you can afford. Their 35 years of experience and commitment to quality have earned them the loyalty of customers throughout the U.S. Check out the website at www.bellamystricklandtrucks.com or call John Winter, the general manager, at 770-954-3017. Bellamy. A little Dietrich Haddon there, Sinner Saved by Grace. We're coming back here in the Real Talk Sports Show as we broadcast to you from Pinstripes Bowling and Entertainment Center. And we thank God for those of you who have stopped by to check us out here. Again, best way to check us out today is at Facebook Live. Go to facebook.com/Real Talk Sports 7, and you will find us broadcasting to you live with the Real Talk Sports Show as we're in Pinstripes Bowling and Entertainment Center. We have the final two guys here from Drew High School in Riverdale. AD, teacher, coach, counselor, bottle washer. Coach Derwin Lyles is here, and he's got two more young gentlemen going to introduce themselves to you right now. Go ahead, young man, you first.
I'm number 5, Anthony Minchak.
Looking at camera, that number 5, everybody can see you on Facebook. There you go. All right.
I'm Jonathan Bruno, number 31.
And what position you play first?
I play linebacker with a little bit of running back. I'm sticking linebacker.
Oh, he's a two-way man. Go ahead.
I play both running back and linebacker.
Well, I will admit I kind of got a good feeling towards Jonathan because that's my name. So he's
kind of partial, huh?
Kind of partial a little bit. Well, listen, for you guys, what's been kind of the first of all, what year are you in? Let's ask that question.
My senior year.
Okay. All right, as seniors and VJ, you know when you make that transition, go from being the little guy they chase around to now you the senior, right?
Well, being in you guys' point in your senior year of high school, what do you see as the biggest challenges you have on the field, especially on the defensive end? And then what do you see yourself going after this? Will you continue football, or are you looking into anything else?
Yeah, I feel like I will continue playing football at the collegiate level. And the biggest challenge for us right now is finding a way to allow the younger kids to stay disciplined while we're being on discipline. While we're being on defense. It's the only thing we're trying to get to their head, to stay disciplined and stick to what we got to do. Game plan.
I'm still on that path. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about continuing, but I'm looking out. I'm looking for like my life to change, like while I play.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
I like that. I like how you set that up. Well, listen, guys, we appreciate you stopping out. I know we got the coach over there hanging out for Morrow High School, so he's gonna hold it down for Morrow. And we just appreciate you guys coming on out. I want you guys to hang around if you can a little bit so we can get a couple of group pictures before you go. I know you got class and everything tomorrow, but maybe during the break we'll go ahead and get a couple of pictures right quick. But, guys, we're here in the building with Drew High School in Riverdale. The Titans said, hey, we's here. As they
Titan tough.
The Titan tough as they have knocked
Titan
off their arch rivals, Riverdale, 24-14 last week. And now you guys, before we go with this really quickly, you guys have to go up the road, I believe, to Rome. Is that who you play next?
Yeah, we're going up to play Rome, defending state champion
I was about
in
to
their
say.
place, and we look forward to the challenge. And again, as we mentioned earlier, we're trying to improve ourselves on every level and every aspect. And in order to be the best, you got to beat the best. So we're going to continue to do that and strive and try to be the best team we can by playing the best competition.
Well, you guys certainly do a good job of that. And, Coach, you guys just keep up the good work. And I tell you guys, listen, people who are out here listening, you can support these young men very, very easily. You have not one, not two, but 3 stadiums here in Clayton County where high school football is played every week. Friday Night Lights is alive and well. You can go to Tara Stadium where you usually find us broadcasting the games either on Facebook Live or on the Internet. You also can hear the games live stream broadcasted by clicking on our link. We partner with StreamCity.com, and they'll be at the Crescent Stadium, which is your home stadium, and also over at 12 Oaks, which is the Lovejoy home stadium. So no excuse. Go out there and watch the kids. Games normally start at 7:30. And from time to time, they even play a Thursday night special.
Thursday night, 7 o'clock.
Yes, indeed. So you guys come out and support these young men. Tickets are only $7, and the money, again, goes back to the Clayton County Athletic Department to help these young men really grow and build. So, you want things to be better, then you have to contribute. Well, Coach, again, we appreciate you, all the young men, for coming out again, hang around with us so we can take a few pictures afterwards as well.
Yeah. Thank you for having us. Enjoy
Absolutely.
it.
And we'll have you guys back because normally we normally have a treat. We normally have a guy that is on with us every week. He is a legend here in the state, played back before you guys were born, but he's in the Georgia Tech Hall of Fame. He was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after he had a very severe injury in college. He actually is on the 50-year All-ACNC team. His name is, you used to call him Captain America. His name is Ken Swilling.
Okay.
And if you guys Google him up, Ken is normally out here. And so the next time you guys come out, because we're going to have you back on again, we'll bring Ken out here. And then also a couple other former retired Falcons. We'll get them out as well. Everybody's schedule is kind of tight, so we couldn't do it this week. But we'll bring you back out so you guys can talk to them because they'll tell you basically the same thing, how important it is to really be gifted, not so much gifted, but have the same work ethic off the field, and how important that is as you get older, because all those things you put in, because the coach will tell you what you put in on that practice field shows up on the playing field with the same thing. What you put in them books, now it shows up in life later on. So you guys just keep up the good work, and Coach, and you do the same.
Thank you.
All right, brother, it's a pleasure. Coach, you do like also. Good job. All right, we're going to have Miles bring in our representative from Morrow High School. He's been chilling the whole time here, but we're going to bring him on in and let him talk to us about the good stuff that's going on at Morrow High School. As we transition now here, guys, again, keep it locked right here on the Real Talk Sports Shows. We broadcast to you on Atlanta's Incredible Radio, and we also are broadcasting to you live on Facebook as well. And we're going to bring in our rep here from Morrow High School. And we want to give a shout-out here. We have a lady here. She has been taking pictures the whole time. We want to give her a little wave and shout out. VJ, could you that young lady right there behind us there, we'll bring her on here right quick, and we're going to get our man set up here from Morrow High School. Get them headsets on. And Coach, we're going to give you a quick shout out, and then we're going to have you introduce yourself here. Go ahead.
I'm Jason Perry, offensive coordinator at Morrow High School.
Morrow High School.
Yes, sir.
The Mustangs of Morrow High School.
Yes,
well,
sir.
Coach, before we do this, we're going to bring a young lady on here really quick because she has been, have her come over here next to me right quick. All right, man, we're going to pass you this mic because I've been watching you filming with your phone. Just introduce yourself and tell us who you are. And you seem like you were proud over there with that phone. Go ahead.
Yes, hi, my name is Marjorie Booz. I'm a proud parent of James Brown and the whole Drew team. Since we opened the doors, I'm a team mom and a community leader. So I'm just proud of Drew getting on the map. And thank you all for just inviting us here tonight.
Well, man, we're very excited because, again, we are technically Clayton County's only major radio station. And so I've been doing sports for a while. I'm actually a licensed minister myself. Miles is a deacon of his church in Riverdale. Amen. So we wanted to come out and really say, hey, listen, we want to every week, if not here in Pinstripes, back in the studio, bring in some of the high schools from Clayton County and then some of the other counties as well to let people know that there are great things going on, especially in this county.
Yes, it is.
The south side of town sometimes get a bad rep. Y'all know I'm telling you the truth. But it's not true. There's so many great things going on here because if it wasn't, you wouldn't have companies like Porsche and all these other people pouring in here and doing things. So, ma'am, again, we want to applaud you because I say this all the time, really, coaches say it, the parents really and the boosters make a big difference. Let's see if Miles, let me see if you can turn the camera, Miles, for a second so we actually can get her in the picture. She's kind of just out of it for a second. There she is. Okay, nope, we're good right here. Coach, on lean back. Ma'am, just wave to everybody there on Facebook Live.
Facebook.
And we thank you so much for coming out here.
You
and congratulations. We heard in the Battle of Riverdale, Drew won.
We tucking home.
There you go. All right. And Riverdale, listen, we're not throwing shade. We're going to have you out, Raiders. We're going to have you out next week. But we just
thank you.
You need to have that balance. And, man, we thank you for providing balance off the field for these young men.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
God bless you all.
All right, Coach, Morrow High School, speaking of big things going on, the first time you guys were here, I don't think you could make it that night.
Right.
I actually had a treat for the kids. A lot of people don't know this, historical fact, but the last Clayton County Public High School to win a state championship was the 1987-88 Morrow Mustangs.
That's pretty neat. I didn't know that either.
That is correct. And we actually had one of the star defensive backs from that team here. He had his official Morrow jacket and his ring. And a lot of people also don't know this. If you actually go in the AD's office in Tara Stadium, when you walk in there, it actually has the original program from that game. And it's a team you guys still do play, the Effingham Rebels. Okay. And that's who they beat out for the state title for Clayton County's only state championship game. So you tell your young guys, and we told them they were here, they were for real? They said, yeah, right. The Morrow Mustangs hold that honor as being the only Clayton County public school to ever win a state title. So kudos to Morrow. And it looks like y'all doing a little something, starting off the season 2-0. Big win last week. We were there live broadcasting some portion of the game. We got some filming as well, knocking off Forest Park. Big win there, 33-6. And I believe you guys, did you beat Towers in the first game? Who did you guys beat again?
We beat Hampton.
Hampton, that's who it was. Right. So you guys really, again, a good start to the season. What's really been the difference with you guys and Coach Weeks in that program?
I've done this a couple times. We've come in and started a program, and when you come in and you want to kind of you want to change the thinking and kind of redo the way the team approaches, it takes a little bit of time. So I would say this season our kids are more familiar with what we expect of them as young men. They're more familiar with what we want them to do on the field, and they've been able to play faster and play harder because they're more familiar with what's going on this season. So the time and the hard work paid off for us so far.
I had a question for you. Talk about coming in and instilling that in your guys. What's that message that you like to send to your, to your team, especially going into that season and before each and every game to get them, prepared and to get everybody on one accord?
I played football. I played high school here in Georgia, college here in Georgia, and with Coach Weeks, our head coach as well. And it came up today in the practice that we're going to start doing 1 day a week study hall. So the message, first of all, is you're a student first. So take care of the grades. Coach Weeks decided in the spring if you had one failing grade, even though you could still be eligible with 2 failing grades because they had 7 classes, you had 1 failing grade, you couldn't participate in the spring. So we've really, really, really driven home the message that we're taking academics seriously. We're taking being good citizens around the school and being leaders in the school. So a lot of what we're really trying to instill has nothing to do with X's and O's or Friday night. It just be a good young man, a good citizen of your community.
Well, I tell you, man, we're very excited to have you guys here, and I'm going to do a little housekeeping, Miles. I'm actually going to have you remind the Drew guys we're on the air live because we can hear them over there as you tell them. You kind of pipe it down a little bit as we go here. But, Coach, you know, one of the things that also has impressed me about what you guys do over at Morrow is we always kind of ask what you guys are doing off the field. And talking to Coach Weeks, I guess you guys do a Wednesday morning thing. Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. We've partnered with the FCA. Brother Darrell comes out and he does a great job with the kids. We've also partnered with some of the local churches in our community. Our players went out, I think it was our second Sunday so far this season where they went out and worshiped with churches right across the street from the school. I wasn't able to make it. I was out of my church in Decatur at Hillcrest Church of Christ. We plan to bring them out in the next 2 weeks to worship with us. So FCA is great because you got some brothers that understand the Bible and understand Christianity, but they also understand what it means to be an athlete and have dual responsibilities and have to be pulled in different directions. So the kids love it. Brother Darrell does a great job. The kids love it. They get up early. They show up. And it's been really uplifting. We have some kids that have really come with some confessions and appealed to their brothers on the team and said, this is what's going on in my life. I need your help. So it's opened up the brotherhood and the faith, and it's got us more committed and more of a family. I love it.
Yes, sir. I actually I love that analogy with that because I love comparing. That's why I love sports so much because it relates to life so much because adversity and falling down to the bottom, getting 2 interceptions or shooting air balls and you know whatever you're doing or striking out, you always got another chance.
That's right.
And you just got to make better and just forget about the last time and just make better this shot. You know, that's why I love sports, and that's why I used to have this shirt called "Sports is Life" and "Life is Sports." You know, so. But you know, just a little off the high school football question there. I see that Jimbo Fisher shirt you got on there.
Hold on.
You know, so.
Hey.
I saw my buddies over here rolling with the tie when I came, and I noticed that.
So yes,
sir.
I went down and worked Coach Fisher's camp, and it was excellent, learned a lot.
Oh, wow.
I appreciate the program. I was down there probably 2 years, the 2 years before they won the the national championship. So I appreciate their work ethic, but I'm a Bulldog through and through. So I'm all right. I'm going to Ole Miss game this season. I'll be down in Athens, so we're pulling for the Dogs.
I'm volunteers, baby, all the way. We'll see you in Knoxville.
Okay. Okay. We got to get it right this year.
See, there's a lot of SEC,
Yes, sir.
a lot of that bread and burgundy rolling around over here.
That's right.
Well, I tell you, the one thing that happened to me from doing this show is obviously, you know, right in the I don't want to say the capital, but somewhat almost capital of SEC, and even now, you know, ACC football, Clemson not too far away, Georgia Tech having gone to an Orange Bowl 3 times in the last 9 years, so a lot of energy here in the city of Atlanta, and of course the SEC championship game is played here every year. Covering the Atlanta Touchdown Club, I want to give them a big shout out. One of the things they do is they do Players of the Week, Coach of the Week, and they bring in some of the great coaches, really legends, living legends. And I've had the great opportunity to not once but twice interview Coach Bobby Bowden.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, if you guys go to our Real Talk Sports page, you'll see that interview. And what really got me was in the second interview, which was this last year, you know, Coach Bowden is 86. A lot of people don't wear it, but he's 86 years old. And he actually made a joke when I said to him, because I heard him say he's 86. I said, well, Coach Bowden, you're 86 years young. He looked at me. He said, well, brother, can you believe that? 4 years, I'll be 90. How about that? but not only that, but what I really got from him is that when you meet any of these guys, whether it be him, we had a chance to not do a one-on-one, but be part of the press crew and talk to Nick Saban when they came here to pick up the Maxwell Bowl. All these guys, once you meet them, you understand why they are the men they are. Because here's what Coach Bowden said to me. 86 years old. The 2 interviews that we had were at the Touchdown Club They span 5 years span.
Okay.
Okay. You know what he said to me? Hey, brother, you still at it?
And he
So I'm
hadn't
thinking to
forgot.
myself, huh? And then says to me afterwards, I'm doing a good job and keep up the good work. Now I'm thinking to myself, now this man is talking to me 2 times in 5 years, but because that's how he is. He makes you feel like, man, I've known you like, like I just talked to you yesterday. And that's what all those guys have the ability to do. And even guys who are stern like Nick Saban, they still have that way of resonating with people. Coach Weeks the same way. Coach Lyles, all these guys, I mean, that's the difference. I'm sure you have to do the same thing as the OC, man. The kids, if they're not listening to your message, but
I tell coaches all the time, the measure of a really good coach is not how knowledgeable you are. It's not how you approach it, but it's how much you get out of your kids. And Coach Bowden, one of those guys, I'm sure his players want to run through a wall for him. I mean, you had a record. He had, 10, 12 years. He just ran through the ACC against some really good competition. So a good coach is going to get the most out of his kids, and I think that's a measure of Coach Bowden, or a testament to Coach Bowden and Coach Saban.
Yeah, Coach, I really like what you guys are doing, especially on a high school level, developing young men into grown men, especially trying to give them these tools early on in life. You see a lot of players, they don't get that until they get to the college level, but the fact that you guys are trying to hit that on their head now before they make that transition into college football or even in life in general, building that brotherhood with your team, just like teams like Atlanta Falcons, they have that brotherhood motto. Clemson, Dabo Swinney instills that in their players. Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher, some of the great coaches who are doing this, you guys are doing it on the high school level. So I applaud you guys for that.
I appreciate that. It's I think it's just one way to do it. I've coached at some other high schools, and I've seen the way that other teams do it, and I just appreciate Coach Weeks. He's just a strong guy, and he's consistent in what he believes in. I think it's one way to do it, and you have to be all-encompassing. You got to make young men good people, and you have to make them take their education seriously, and then you can get a product on the field.
Yes, sir. And he got, like you said, he's consistent, leading by example.
That's right.
And that's the most important, as young men seeing him being consistent, because they see him being consistent that same way every day that they see him. Attitude, and no telling what he's going through,
That's
but
right.
he got the same positive attitude each and every day. And young men need to see that,
That's right.
especially us as mentors and older, just black men in general. Especially what's going on nowadays in this world. Seeing us still positive through all this, that's very important in their lives.
Well, guys, you hear the music here. We're going to take our final break of the evening. You're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show as we broadcast to you live from Pinstripes Bowling and Entertainment Center, located right off of Highway 138, 3478 Mount Zion Road in Stockbridge. We'll be back.
Yes, sir.
I saw you doing a report. I said, hey, man, he's doing some work in there. I leave him home. Good, okay.
there, my name is Tim Mullen, General Manager of Pinstripes Family Entertainment Center in Stockbridge. Now is the perfect time to schedule your holiday party. Big or small, we cater them all. 2 hours of bowling, shoe rental, choice of one of our freshly prepared spreads like the pasta meal or southern barbecue meal. Your holiday party is waiting for you at Pinstripes.
Pinstripes Entertainment Center, 3478 Mount Zion Road, Stockbridge. Call 770-302-0786 or online at pinstripes9.com.
When you need a vehicle for your business, you need superior performance and quality service. You need Bellamy Strickland Commercial Trucks. They're in McDonough, Georgia, just south of Atlanta, and can meet your Isuzu, GMC, and Chevrolet commercial truck needs. Their friendly staff will help you find the fleet trucks and vehicles you need at a price you can afford. Their 35 years of experience and commitment to quality have earned them the loyalty of customers throughout the U.S. Check out the website at www.bellamystricklandtrucks.com or call John Winter, the general manager, at 770-954-3017. Bellamy Strickland Commercial Trucks, the truck capital of Georgia.
DJ Pat. Big Y.
Little D Hattie there, Dietrich Haddon. We're just sinners saved by grace. And that is certainly the truth for this guy here and everybody sitting here in this building who knows Jesus Christ as their personal Savior. And we thank God for his saving grace, because without it, we would not be here right now. We're wrapping it up, guys, here in the final segment of the Real Talk Sports Show. Again, we've been broadcasting to you from Pinstripes Bowling and Entertainment Center, 3478 Mount Zion Road in Stockbridge, Georgia. And after reclining on the sidelines, Miss Vasiera is back.
Dabbing her way back to the booth. Little dab here, little dab there.
Well, you know, we had to put, that's why we put a little D Hattie in the building, you know, kind of spice it up a little bit. You know, we like to try to bring you a gospel flavor with a little bit of something.
Can I get you to dab? I was just asking.
Dab, is like, I mean, you know, like there was a commercial back in the day. Brill cream, little dab will do. You talking about that? No? Oh, you talking about the Cam Newton dab. Oh, for real? I'm sorry, I messed it up. That's my fault. My bad. You know how it is. The preacher, you know, he kind of.
Yeah, see what I got to put up with.
Well, y'all see what I got to put up with. Y'all, see, once again, folks, without getting anyone too over the top with excitement, please go to Real Talk Sports 7, and you will see the lovely Miss Vasier in her glorious gown and outfit.
Gown?
Well, it's not really a gown. It was, you know. Here's the thing. If you guys follow her, what you realize is.
Do you guys see that he's doing the not minister?
That she's very fit.
Somebody else is doing the dirty old man hand finger thingy.
Oh, for real?
Not the dirty old man.
Oh, well, hold up. Now, I know you're not throwing shade at the minister or his broadcast.
That's what he called it himself.
No, I was talking about.
No.
I
said it wasn't you. I made sure they understood that it was not you that was doing it.
Everybody tighten up in here now.
You guys on Facebook see what I'm talking about. He's doing the dirty old man finger thingies.
But no, she did acquit herself very well. Very stylish garment. Makeup was nice. Everything good.
When I finally get a chance to get out, I like to dress up every now and then.
Spiced up the whole situation. People falling down at the table, tripping, all kind of stuff. You know, I'm just, you know, a little hyperbole, a little over the top. I got you, a little over the top, Okay, we'll bring it back. Bring it back. All right, guys, you know we're going to ask you one more time. All right, we have the Kickoff Classic coming up. We have 4 teams playing, ACC versus the SEC in both contests. We have the middle-of-the-pack guys, Tennessee against Georgia Tech, and I saw Miles winch when I said middle of the pack, but right now they are. And then we have the top dogs, Florida State against Alabama Crimson Tide. All right, first Miles. Miles, who's going to win Tennessee, Georgia Tech, and why?
Okay, you know what?
You thought about 8 times. Go ahead, bro.
I got to go with Tennessee. I really think they're overall the better team because they got a offense that's more point score worthy and that's going to score more points than maybe a 1 or 2 dimensional offense that you're going to see out of Georgia Tech.
Wow, shots
they might give up.
fired.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, no disrespect to Georgia Tech. This
is a good
To be in the city college right there, well, besides Georgia State too. But I really think at the end of the day, Tennessee is the better team, and we will prevail at the end. And Tech is really just, I mean, I think they're limited in what they can do, and I think as long as we stay disciplined on defense, we should be good. Now, don't get me wrong, we was really bad on the stopping the run last year, so I hope that we have improved.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, we was really bad. We was really bad on that.
And
I
so
can't give it as that number, but I mean, it wasn't just a one-stage offensive run that we was trying to stop. Though. All they got is the triple option over there and all that stuff. So we as long as we stay disciplined, we're good with that. And we had 2 or 3 months to prepare for it, and we're good.
Okay, so let me see. You're telling me that your team was bad defending against the run
last year.
Yeah. And meanwhile, the Yellow Jackets, over the last 10 years under Paul Johnson's tutelage, has consistently been one of the top 20 rushing teams in college football every year.
Mm-hmm.
And you're thinking, matter of fact, let's just get the stats really quickly.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have a little situation here. Hold on a second. As always, we get this. Rushing offense, Georgia Tech, 258.1 yards a game, number 9 in the nation.
Last year. With Justin Thomas as quarterback.
I'm just saying, still number 9 in the nation.
Okay.
And you are aware that over this 9-year period, Justin Thomas wasn't the quarterback all the time. You are aware of that, right?
Yeah,
they've had other quarterbacks, and they consistently average between 250 and 300 yards a game on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can just understand again, you guys are weak against the
run last year.
Oh, okay. That's all.
Yes, I mean, that sounds really good, Ben.
Doesn't it?
That sounds
it
really
good.
Does.
And
it actually sounds like y'all have a chance. So
wait, hold on a second. You're saying y'all?
I mean, Georgia. You know you're Georgia Tech.
Hey, I covered Georgia Tech. Absolutely.
You're Rebel Ray.
And now you are aware also. Just again, I don't want to throw anything against your situation. You are aware that they played SEC teams 3 times last year. Do you know what their record was?
3-0, wasn't it?
What was it again?
3-0.
Against what kind of teams?
SEC.
SEC
2 of our
teams.
worst teams in our conference.
I knew it was Shade
and,
coming
but
somewhere.
Georgia, they did beat Fair Square, beat Georgia, which
in Georgia,
which was more. Georgia lost that more than they. I mean, they beat themselves more than.
And so and so now you guys didn't beat Georgia on like a Hail Mary fluke pass, right? You didn't do that.
Okay. That's true.
Okay, I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying. All right. But no, really, to be honest with you, really what I'm thinking, the reason why Georgia Tech doesn't have a problem because obviously their preseason All-American A-back Dedrick Mills is off the team.
Yeah.
And that's really going to be a big problem. And there still are some decisions to be made at quarterback. They have not. The Matthew Jordan was the guy coming in, but they're wondering. They have a young man behind him that is just blazing fast.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some question marks there. And defensively, the defense was somewhat mediocre.
Oh yeah,
64.
That's every year.
Right.
That's every year.
Okay. Anyway. Let me move on to game number 2.
And we do actually have some injuries too already. I just want to let you know, Mr.
All right.
Kirkland.
Now I want to ask a question. Is it like last year? Because last year I believe you guys went from having 11 injuries, 11 players, then to 21, then to 48, and then at one point the entire team was injured. Is this the same situation or not?
No,
I'm just
not
curious.
right now. We only got 4 right now.
Okay,
so
no problem. All right.
One starter.
All right. VJ, Alabama against Florida State. Florida State. AD taking shots saying they're going to beat the brakes off of Alabama.
Well, Minister, contrary to their belief, that is not going to happen. You know I'm rolling with the Tide. I think this game is going to come down to the defensive end, who can be more disciplined, who can limit their mistakes. We see Coach Saban preaches about limiting your mistakes, doing the necessary things you have to do to win, and being disciplined in your assignments. And I think Alabama will do a really good job of that. They say they're going to come out and run over Alabama, but I think they'll see after that first quarter of the initial shock and the hype of the game when Alabama really settles in and they really break down Florida State, it'll turn into a good win for Alabama. And Jalen Hurts returning to his second year is starting quarterback. I think he'll get better with his pass efficiency as well, and our running game will be really, really good as well with both Scarborough, Damian Harris, which will open up the pass for us. So Alabama all day.
Yeah, I have to agree with him too. And unlike us at Tennessee, we really don't know who's going to start for us, Quentin Normandy or Jared Garantano. But in both of those, in your game, both of them, we already know who's coming in head-to-head, Hurst versus Francois. So that's definitely going to be a head-to-head matchup. And I really cannot wait to see that game. I'm really excited about it. But I know Florida State's going to bring everything they got, though.
Oh,
Definitely. Florida State's going to ball out. I know they are, and they're going to be crumped and ready for it. And we're going to see, man.
I'm definitely not going to take anything away from Florida State. This is definitely a game that you have to take seriously. Especially those guys are ready to play just like Alabama's ready to play.
Mm-hmm.
And with it being the first game of the season, you wanted to, make a statement early on. What time better to do it than now?
Yeah.
Go Noles.
Go Vols.
Wow.
Hey.
Okay, say it again, please, just so everybody can hear you. Go ahead. Look in the camera. Go ahead and say it.
I said go Noles.
Go
I
Noles.
say go Vols.
Florida State gal right there. See, you know this. See,
Go SEC.
she already know what time it is. See, I just had to put out there, VJ. Now, not taking anything away from Alabama gals, and people probably listen and say, "Preacher, why are you always talking about the women?" Because I'm just being. This is this is just real talk. See, all the pretty girls, they like Florida State.
I don't know why though.
Right, it's that glamour. I guess they like those the war chant. I'm not sure what's going on.
When they see Alabama.
Wow.
Well, I did migrate here from Orlando.
Florida State, though.
I migrated here from Orlando. So, I was in Florida for quite some time. Got to support the
Oh, yeah, I forgot you was in Orlando.
Home team. Although Jacksonville, NFL-wise, Jacksonville is there in Florida and everything. But, home team as far as
the state.
Yeah, that and, of course, Ohio State.
Okay.
See, we're not going to talk about Ohio State.
Mister, tell her to quit being disrespectful.
Okay, right now, this is where everything went to the left. She was doing good. She was, go Noles. Then she was like, well, Ohio State. Then she started naming a bunch of other teams. Jacksonville. You're doing good. Okay, it's just not too much. All right, guys, as always, we're heading towards the end of the broadcast, so we're going to go around the booth and let everybody get their final remarks. Mr. VJ, go ahead.
Hey, roll tide, man. Like I said, Saturday is coming up, man. Excited about college football. So.
Yeah,
Miles?
Same here, man. I can't wait till this weekend. And Game Time Sports Talk Radio Friday night, 8:30 to 9:30. And God bless, man. Good night. Live, laugh, love.
Guys, I always say it every time. You only lose when you stop trying. I'm supporting Colin Kaepernick. I'm not watching any games. I